did not collect their permanent voters' cards after the 2015 elections. We also used the opportunity to distribute the permanent voters' cards that were printed during in 2017. And we also used the opportunity to distribute the permanent voters' cards that were printed during the first quarter of 2018. So many individuals did collect their permanent voters' cards. The voters' cards for those who registered during the last quarter of 2018 is ready. And these are being distributed to the various states. And I'm sure and I'm confident that by next week, all these permanent voters' cards will be with the various, with the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the various local governments. So we call on the Nigerian people who register within this particular period to avail themselves of the opportunity by going to the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission in the various local governments to collect their cards.
Okay,
but
that's a good place to hold this for a minute or two.
Elections.
We'll come back to let you continue, but we must go on a very quick break, and we'll be back after these messages. Join us again.
Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. So, Corey, our closing moment here. Yesterday, the president was quoted as saying he declined assent to the electoral bill to avoid electronic manipulation. But yet, INEC insists on going ahead with the use of the card reader and other plans that you have around identification, accreditation, and then you say it's manual voting. But the transmission part of it, how would it be transmitted? Or has the plan changed now that the electoral bill has not been assented to? What's the plan of INEC now?
Well, you know, the Independent National Electoral Commission works with the existing law. So the existing law as of today relates to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as variously amended. You know, we have the first, second, third, and fourth alteration of the Constitution. We're also going to work with the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. And you know that the last amendment to the Electoral Act took place in 2015. So, and then we also have our own rules, we have our own regulations, and we have our own manuals. These are the documents we are going to work with. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission will deploy the upgraded card reader for the 2019 elections. The card reader is a legal instrument, and we are going to deploy it. No court of law has made a pronouncement to the effect that the Independent National Electoral Commission cannot use the card reader in any of the elections. Now, what has happened is that Section 49 of the Electoral Act gives the Independent National Electoral Commission the authority to deploy the smart card reader for the conduct of elections. And deploying that means that when a voter gets to the polling unit, it is the responsibility of the presiding officer to assure himself or herself that the person who has come to the polling unit with a permanent voter's card is the owner of that permanent voter's card. So what the presiding officer does is, one, to look at the voter's register to be sure that the name of the person who is holding the PVC is in the voter's register and that the person is in the correct polling unit. Secondly, the presiding officer now verifies and authenticates that the permanent voter's card that the person has come to the polling unit with was issued by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And that is the work that the smart card reader is supposed to do, to verify that this particular card is the property of the Independent National Electoral Commission and was issued by the Independent National Electoral Commission. So it's like a quality control mechanism, and we're going to deploy it. We have improved on the smart card reader. The smart card reader is faster, and the issue of not identifying fingerprints has been reduced to the barest minimum. So we are going to deploy it. And so we are going to have a duality of processes and procedures. We are going to rely on the voters register, and we are going to also rely on the smart card reader for purposes of accreditation. And then the person who has been verified can now vote. In terms of the electronic transmission of results, we are going to work with the existing law. And the existing law is to the effect that when the voting has closed, the presiding officer will count the votes in the presence of everybody and go to the registration area or the wards with all the forms that have been signed and authenticated by the polling agents and by the security officers, and also with the smart card reader.
It is.
And when the person goes to the ward for purposes of collation, the collation officer will look at the manual forms that have been filled.
Ongoing,
and
Mr.
they
Festus,
also look at the figure.
I'd like to crave your indulgence, Mr. Festus Okoye. It is indeed a continuing phase of our electoral process, but we must thank you so much indeed. I believe that we'll have other forums where we can have a broader discussion on the processes, as it were. Festus Okoye, National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us. And that's how the show has been. Thank you for watching. I'm Gemba Umar.
I'm Neo Tai. We have a good day.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this program are those of the maker and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.